To generate the data, first you have to start the school database module, and then on the first initial screen, on the splash screen, just click on continue. Then it will ask for the connect string, username and password. Please remember that connect string is a database alias, and it can be used it will be used in the case when you are using the school database module at the client and the database is existing at the server. That means connect string will be useful if you are connecting a client machine in the network architecture and the server is having the database. If you are using the database and the school database module on the same system, then you don't have to give the connect string. You just have to type the correct username and the password. Please remember, this username will be the username where you had imported the data, where you are having the data of particular district or of state. For example, here I am using HAR as the username and the password. Then I click on standalone. Standalone means when I am using the data on the same machine and the software also, DISE software also on the same machine, then by default it is selected standalone. Web server will be used in case if you want to enter the data or if you want to process the data which is available on the web server. Web server facility will be provided at the state's request, and the web server facility has to be installed at the state level. Presently we will be going with the standalone version. Just click on OK. If the username and password which you had specified on the initial screen, if that username and password is correct, then you will be brought to another screen where it is called academic year selection screen. The state will be displayed for which the data is available. All the districts, if it is a state level database, then all the districts of this particular state will be displayed. Then you have to select a particular district for which you want to process the data or for which you want to generate the data, we can say. For generating the data for the current year 2014-15, please remember that the current year is 2014-15, and if the current year is 2014-15, then the previous academic year for which you are having the data is 2013-14. So we will select a district and select the academic year as the 2013-14. It will show the statistics of this particular year and the particular district. Just click on 2013-14 and click on continue button. Continue with 2013-14. It will ask for the confirmation. Are you sure to select 2013-14 as academic year? Just click on yes. After a bit processing, it will take you to the main menu and the main screen from where you can start the different options. But please see that when you are starting the work for 2014-15, then the first task after login into the database is to generate the data for the current year 2014-15. What does the generate data mean? Generate data means you are copying the data from 2013-14 to 14-15. Means you are generating the data, you are copying the data from the previous year 2013-14 to 2014-15, which is the current year. Now generating the data, what the generating the data will do? It will copy all the constant variables and into the current year, so that all those constant variables will be printed on the data capture format when you print the data capture format from the software, and it will also be available while making the data entry. So half of your data capture format is pre-filled, half of your data entry work is already done. So how to generate a data for the current year? Go to tools menu, click on generate data. Here it will show you the blocks of the selected district. If you want to generate the data for the current year 2014-15 or for OR blocks, then select all block, and then you have to select the academic year. We want to generate the data for 2014-15, so we will select 2014-15. If instead of selecting all blocks, if we select only a particular block, then the data will be generated for the current selected block for the selected year 2014-15, and the next level The data generation level option provides you the facility to generate the data for complete state. If you select state, then the data will be generated for the current year 2014-15 from 13-14 for the complete state irrespective of the selected block. If you select a district, then irrespective of the selected block, it will generate the data for all the blocks. It is similar to selecting an all block and selecting a district. If we select a block, then it will generate the data for either a single block or for all blocks. If we select school, then remember that after selecting a block, we can select a particular school, which also means that we can generate data for only for a selected school instead of complete block or district or state. So we will generate the data for particular block. Block is selected. Select the academic year is 2014-15 and then click on generate. It will ask for confirmation and it will start generating the data for the selected block. You can see the progress of data generation at the top of the screen and on the message bar. For this particular school, the data is being generated. Out of 284 schools in this particular block in 2013-14, the data is generated for the number of records are generated. After the generation of all the records, it will give a process completion message, and then you can see whether the data has been generated or not. Just log out from this module and then come again into the module using the same username and password, and it will show you we selected again the district which we selected earlier also. Now it is saying 2014-15. Click on continue. Now the data is being generated. This is how you can generate the data for the current year from the previous year.